Good evening. Good evening. It's a Real Sports Fan Podcast. Back for another Monday night, season 3, episode 27. It is August the 17th, 7:19, 7:20 now p.m. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate your patience. We are back for a very special episode. I have a very, very special guest, someone that's very dear to me, one of the very important person to me that actually helped me grow up and even become a man. You know, he might not think so, but he really did. So I've got my coach. I still call him coach, and he's a lot of people's coaches. But I've got our coach, Mike Butler, with me today. Coach, how you doing?
Lance, I'm doing great, man. God is good all the time. You know it.
God is good all the time, Coach. You got that right. You got that right. And for anybody wondering why you don't see his big smile on here, we got some technical difficulties. We might work it out before the end of the episode, but if not, the most important thing is you can hear him, you can hear me, and it's going to be a great episode and a great conversation. So I definitely, we've been looking forward to this. First and foremost, Coach, I just wanted to say to you, how much I appreciate you. One of the reasons I started doing this, was really obviously talk about sports and talk about a lot that's going on and stuff like that. But also at the same time, my grandma used to always say, give people their flowers while they can still smell them. So this is kind of me, doing that and giving you your flowers while you can still smell them and letting you know, not just me, but what you mean to a lot of people, in the community. So, I just want to say that I definitely appreciate you and all that you've done for a lot of different people.
Well, thank you, Lance. Man, that was touching, man. That was touching. So
I mean it, Coach. Even earlier. Yeah. I mean, even earlier, when I posted, different pictures or, let people know that you was coming on. I even did an episode yesterday and people was like, oh yeah, that's right, Coach is gonna be on. Everybody still calls you, whether it's Coach, whether it's Coach Butts, whether it's Butts, whether it's Butler, but a lot of people still call you, you're a coach to a lot of people, you're, teacher to a lot of people. So, again, I just want to say I appreciate you jumping on the podcast tonight.
Not a problem, Lance. I've been looking forward to this. When you private messaged me and said, hey, you want to try it? And man, I was like, yes, indeedy, because I know you love to talk sports. What a great idea that you did with this. And I guess the one I really enjoyed was Albert Finch. When you and Albert were talking.
Yeah. That was real good, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was really good. And I was like, wow, man. I know Albert, he was a little guy, small, but he wasn't little.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. For the football team and yeah.
Yeah, he come a long way. I remember that he come a long way. So that's definitely a great point. But I definitely appreciate you being on here and first and foremost with everything been going on with COVID-19 and so much going on in the world. How have you and the family been with everything going on?
We're doing real well. Just got news. We're grandparents again. So our first grandson, because we have 3 granddaughters. So that was pretty touching.
Oh, awesome!
Last week.
Awesome! Congrats.
Yeah. And I tell you, man, you wait till you become a grandparent. It is great.
It's a different type of love, ain't it?
I have 2 stepchildren, and it's really good. And watching our grandkids grow it's been really, really special. So yeah. But real good. We're healthy. We're happy, and
there he is. I see you, Coach. There he is.
Did you the best or what?
Thank you, Miss Brenda.
Lance says thank you, Miss Brenda.
So what I'm gonna do? So Coach, I can take you off of this other one. Then I'm gonna take you off of the original one. Okay. That way you won't get no feedback. I think we'll be good that way. Hopefully, I hope I don't mess this up. Let me do that real quick. Still there, Coach?
I'm still right here. Yep.
Oh yeah, we good to go. There we go. We good to go. Awesome. Hey, Coach. I mean, you better cook her a nice dinner tonight, or a good breakfast in the morning, or something.
Got that right. Flowers.
That's right. That's right, Coach. That's right. I see you representing Eastern Warriors all day.
Got my orange and black on. I bleed orange and black, especially after this weekend, we talked about, and I'll bring his name out because his name came up in church. Our good friend Taylor Lee was diagnosed with kidney cancer. So we want to, all of our friends that are listening out there, and Warrior Nation, once a warrior, always a warrior. Just our prayers go out to Taylor, and it's pretty shocking, because he has three young kids, and so. But with the help of the Lord, help of prayer, as you well know, he'll beat it. So let's hope for that.
He definitely will. He definitely will. And when you told me, I immediately said a prayer for him, and just a great guy. I mean, when I was doing a little bit of research for you, obviously, his name, popped up. I remember, I think it was his first game, he threw for like 286, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, he was a great quarterback for Easton. I remember y'all slid him the quarterback and y'all slid Todd Stoker the running back, his senior year. Yeah.
Probably a good move. Real good move. And Todd being the team player that he was and is, he made all Bayside as a running back.
Yep. That's true. A lot of people wouldn't do that, but Todd was always an unselfish guy. I ran into him a couple months ago too. Always been a good guy.
And you know where he's at now, right? Todd Stoker?
No.
He teaches 5th grade at Easton Elementary School.
Get out of here. I didn't know that.
He's a fantastic teacher. Unbelievable teacher. As you very well know.
Oh, that's great.
Anything he would do, he does grand. So absolutely.
That's great. That's great. That's it. That's great. That's great. So just starting off, how about, I know obviously it's a majority of people know you, but even for the ones that don't know you, that's on here and watching live, just tell people, where you grew up at and just, how it was growing up. I mean, you were the oldest brother, with, I met, I know Bill obviously and Mitch, but, talk about how it was growing up and then also where the love of sports came from.
Growing up, a lot of people think I was born in Easton, but I wasn't. I was born in Chestertown. And my dad worked for the phone company, and they would, back then, wherever they sent you, they sent you. So we lived up near where Kingston is, right before you get to the bridge. That's where we lived.
Yes,
and I was in Chestertown. And I'll say it, 1955. And about a year later, we moved to Hurlock, lived in Hurlock for 2 years. And then we moved to Easton in 1958. And my mom still lives in that house that they bought back in 58. And I guess growing up, my mom and dad were we found out that they were very athletic. Dad played soccer and basketball and baseball being his main game. And my mom could ball. My mother could ball.
Miss Ann.
You know that, Miss Ann? Yeah. My sister played softball. They had rec league softball, and they played the daughters against the mothers one night, and we went out there and watched it. My mother played shortstop, and she was gloving. She was like, wow, and and they, my parents didn't miss a game, and but growing up, true story. My mother grew up in Graysonville. My dad grew up in Centerville, and when my dad got out of the service, started dating mom, and they had a race in downtown Graysonville, like a 100-yard race. And my mom beat my dad. My dad was embarrassed. My dad could run. He told me.
Wow.
He tells that story all the time. It's like, So growing up with my parents was, and, they got us involved in athletics because, we enjoyed it. The old, your dad played catch with you out in the backyard, and shoot baskets with you. And, as you very well know, my brothers and I played 3 sports in high school. And I can remember, Dad built us a basketball court out back, and I think we were like 13 or 14. He said, "You know what? If you dig it up, I'll asphalt our backyard." And my brothers and I, we dug it up by hand. It was 50 feet by 25 feet, and we had basketball. He put up night lights. So growing up in a neighborhood, we grew up in Ealerville, which is, if you know where McDonald's is on Route 50, that neighborhood behind there, and we had some athletes, which was, made it real good for us. And we played basketball all night long. And when you're 14 or 15, a lot of parents nowadays, where's my kid at? Well, our parents knew where we were at. We were out back playing basketball under the lights, and we used to play baseball over at the country school every day. We'd go home, go in the morning, play baseball, go home, have lunch, go back and play baseball in the afternoon. That was baseball and football. When it was football season, we played football and, out to the country school. They had a big field out there and we play. So growing up, it was nice. I had a good childhood, parents who cared. I have a sister that's older than me. A lot of people don't know about, but she's the angel of the family. And I had 2 honorary brothers. I'll go along with her other honorary brother.
I know that's right.
Yeah, it was fun. We had fun back then, and then got into high school, and I can remember, oh gosh, and I remember you saying something about the '68 basketball team. That they were my motivation. We didn't miss a game. I remember one night, it was Friday night, and Easton was playing at Chrisfield, Lance, at Chrisfield. I said, where we going tonight? Where's Easton play at night? He said, Chrisfield. I go, where's that? He goes, it's a long ride.
It's a long ride. You got that right, Coach.
We're going. We went. Of course, Easton won because they were 23-0 that year, and they were just unbelievable. But I got my motivation to play high school sports from that team because they were just unbelievable. And I can remember, after the game, those guys would have their Warrior jackets on, and they would have their E. I'm like, man, I can't wait to wear the orange and black for Easton High School. I can't wait to put on that Tribe jacket. And I told you, this is my letter when I was in high school. And
the Warriors.
Yeah, I got it. Both my brothers still have theirs. I got 8 varsity letters. My brother Bill, a lot of people don't realize this. My brother Bill has 12 varsity letters. He lettered sports, 4 years, wrestling, football, and baseball. And my brother Mitch has 10 varsity letters. Mitch baseball, wrestling for 4 years both, and 2 years of varsity football. Yeah, my brother played varsity football for 4 years. And
4 years.
So yeah, man, and which is, as you very well know, a freshman to play varsity football. A lot of freshmen can play varsity baseball or varsity basketball. But varsity football,
it's different.
So
that's a man sport. That's right. Mm-hmm.
No, it was it was nice, and I was basically growing up, played Easton Little League baseball. We had I'd probably say baseball was my first love, and Easton Little League. We had a good team when I was 12. We won the region, and the region back then was from Elkton all the way down to Chrisfield.
I heard that. Yeah, all the way to Chrisfield, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and we went down and beat a team from Salisbury. Next thing I know, we're going to Arbutus, Maryland, which is up in Baltimore County, and we're playing for the state. And we won our first game, beat a team from Baltimore, and then our second game. And back then, Lance, you lose one, you're done.
That was it.
That was it. So we played a team from Hagerstown, and I can remember that like it was yesterday. But they had this real tall, skinny left-hander, and he's throwing in there. I'm like, we're going to nail this guy. He wasn't throwing nothing. And I was leadoff batter, and first pitch right down the middle, man, base hit. I'm like, we're going to rip him. And one of my friends, Ricky Riley, batted second, and he could hit. Next thing I know, curveball, dropping off the table. And it was 1-1 going into the 9th inning. And daggone, that pitcher came up and hit a home run in the bottom of the 9th and beat us.
Ooh, oh, man. I got to say, that's something that still hurts you to this day, don't it?
Yeah, to this day, because, they had a good team now. And we did too. But you know what? They ended up getting their butts kicked the next day by Westminster. And so we were like, golly day, we might have got our butts kicked that day by Westminster. Okay. And that was the for Little League baseball. And basketball playing, you showed that picture today. Oh, God, I laughed. Yeah.
Took you back, didn't it?
And a lot of people don't know, and I mean, people my age remember that the YMCA was where Safeway is. It was an old church, and the YMCA bought that church, and you'd walk in, and they had carom tables and ping pong tables. Then you go up to the second floor, basketball court, and the third floor was a storage, and played basketball there. And a lot of people don't like, oh, you went up there and there was blacks up there? Yeah, it was totally integrated back then, and that was in the early 60s, even though schools were not integrated. And and that team, that picture we had, we went and have one down the the Red Shields Club down in Salisbury. We went that year. We had a gentleman by the name, him and I were very good friends because we played basketball. He was a really good baseball player, Alfred Brooks. They couldn't stop Alfred.
Yep.
They couldn't. Yeah, his nickname was Needle. Back then, everybody had a nickname too. People, if you listen, Alfred could play. Oh gosh, and we graduated together, and that was basketball. And then football, played in the Talbot Football League, and it was really cool because you played on a Friday night or Saturday night. Played under the
nice, yeah. Prime time, yeah.
Yeah, prime time. Because back then, there really wasn't much to do. We had the movie theater in town, and we didn't have a McDonald's yet. We had one hamburger place. It was called Wendy's. And so, yeah, growing up, it was great. Just playing sports, playing ball. And, yeah, it was great. And then, like I said, when I got to high school, it was, wow, yeah. Had some great memories from high school. And we can go from there because I'll start with
yeah. I was gonna say, go ahead and start with that because there's not too many people that are 3-sport athletes. Yeah, no, you fine. No, you good. Hey, coach, you making it easier for me. You good. Trust me, you good.
Well, baseball wise, back then, let's see. Like I said, I graduated in '73, and back then we had Bayside. The Bayside Conference started, I think, in '71, and it was Cecil County all the way down to Somerset County because we played like Perryville, Rising Sun, Northeast. We played Elton in football. They were always good.
Cecil schools.
And back then, you won the Bayside Crown. That was it. You didn't, we didn't have titles. I think states came in either 76 or 77, Lance, and that was,
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. A couple years after you graduated. Yeah,
and back then, that's the only state title that your school could get was basketball. And so. God, my junior year, we had a good, I think we were like 16-1. We lost one game that year. And my brother-in-law was really good, Wally Knox, unbelievable athlete. And
I was going to ask you about him, yeah.
Yeah, very unbelievable athlete. And so we played J.M. Bennett in the Bayside Championship game. And this kid comes down from Salt, and he's throwing gas. So, first inning, we stuck with him. No. They batted, we got them out. And that year we had an infield. I think I made one error that year, and our shortstop by the name of Donnie Doolin, I don't think he made an error. Unbelievable glove.
Wow.
We had tight defense. Wow. And first inning, we got them down 1-2-3. And next thing you know, here comes this guy throwing gas, right? Well, I think we got guys on base. We had 2 outs, and Wally came up. Now that year, Wally in football, he was leading the conference in rushing and scoring. Going into the 8th game, broke his wrist. So he's coming back from the injury, and he's doing real good. First pitch from this guy, guess where he hits Wally?
I was going to say right on the wrist.
Right on the wrist. Broke again. We ended up losing we ended up losing like 13-0. I think I made 3 or 4 errors. Donnie made a couple errors. We all made errors. And after the game, we just looked at each other and like, we didn't play very well. We didn't. So next year, senior year, baseball, we had a good team. Now we did. We had some good players. Ricky Riley, Kevin Wright. We had a catcher by the name of Robert Cole. He was from down Bruceville, Trapway. He batted 500 in senior year. 500. Now,
500?
500. And probably one of the best hitters I ever played with. And, I'm talking, college baseball and everything like that. Unbelievable. 500. Right. Remember Mr. Johnson?
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Johnson.
Ted Johnson was Ted's brother-in-law. So anyway.
Oh, wow, okay.
Johnson married Robert Cole's sister, Ava. So anyway, we had a good team. So who do we play for the Bayside title? No, it wasn't the Bayside title because back then in baseball, you had the North Division, the Central Division, and the South Division. So it's all schools down south. We're in the South. North Carolina County, Queen Anne, Talbot. Dorchester, we're in the Central, and then then Kent County and Cecil County. And Cecil County Cecil County had 5 high schools in it there. So we got Bennett. We said, all right, we're going to put a licking on. We're winning 6-3, going into the bottom of the 6th, and they got a couple guys on. Next thing I know, it's 6-5. Next thing I know, it's 6-6. They started hitting the ball. So they had a runner on third base, 2 outs, and boy went up and swung, and I swear to God, he swung hard and hit the end of the bat, and the ball went dribbling down third base line. Our third baseman was an excellent third baseman. Brooke Robson couldn't have thrown that guy out. Right?
Yeah, nah. Yeah.
3 up, 3 down for us. On top of the 7th, we ended up losing. But that was bitter. That was probably, I had 2 very, very bitter pills to swallow my senior year, and I'll tell you the other one in just a moment. But 2 or 3 days later, Bennett went up and played Northeast, which is up in Cecil County, and it's Northeast.
Right.
Beat them and won the Bayside title. The other bitter pill I got to swallow, 1973 basketball. We were 19-2. We were tough. We were tough. We were playing in the regional, and they sometimes they switch the regionals around as far as who goes here, this and that,
location wise.
Yeah, we beat everybody on the shore. Shoot, we beat Cambridge 3 times that year. Which, we were, wow, yeah. So we were like, we win this regional final. We're going to Cole Fieldhouse, Lance. We're going to Cole. We're going to duplicate. We're going to duplicate what they did in '68.
68. That's right. You got the thing about 68. That's right. Yeah.
There you go. So we go up to Queen Anne's County. We played a school called Chopticon. They're down in Southern Maryland. We go out and we're up by 10 at the half. Up by 10 at the half. We're like, we went in the locker room, man. We're like, what, 16 more minutes?
Yeah.
16 more.
Like, yeah.
We're going to Cole. We're going to walk on where Cole Fieldhouse is, where Len Elmore's playing. John Lucas is playing, where all those guys are playing. Like, we're going to walk on. They came back and beat us. They took momentum right away. And that second half was probably the worst we played all year. And a lot of people said, oh, it was a coach. It was a coach. No, the coach. No, coach didn't go out there and play. It was us. We just play, and I can remember Alfred Brooks coming across midcourt, looking at the coach when we called timeout. He says, no, just keep going. And they just took the momentum away. And the funniest, I shouldn't say funny thing, but really think about that. The coach for Chopticon later coached up at Chesapeake College.
Is that right? What was his name?
Mappus. John Mappus.
Oh, that's crazy. I did not know that. I did not know that.
I talked to him one time about Kate. Remember Casey? You played with Casey Roberts, right?
Yeah. 2 years.
Casey. I asked Casey. I said, "Do you want to go to college, play basketball? Do you want to go to college?" He says, "I want to go to college, play basketball." I said, "Casey, you can go right up to Chesapeake and play." All right, great coach up there. He's a great coach. You would love it up there. He's a great coach. Mappus was their coach. I think he was in like his second year. So I called him up, and he talked to me and everything. He said, "Man, we'd love to have Casey up here." He says, "Is he going anywhere else?" I said, "Well, he's looking at UMES," because Casey told me Casey was very academically oriented, very smart, very intelligent.
Yeah, he was. He was.
That's funny to go to UMES. I said, "Well, Casey, you go to college for your books and everything like that." So I called Coach Mappus up. We talked and everything like that. He said, "Listen," he said, "I'd love to have him, but if he's getting money to go academically down to UMES, best thing, my advice is to go to UMES." So we got everything. I said, "I got a question to ask you." I said, "I know you came from Southern Maryland." I said, "Did you coach at Chopticon High School?" He said, "Sure did." I said, "Were you the coach in 1973 when you beat Easton in the regional finals?" He goes, "Yeah, sure did." Why? I said, "Because I was on that team that got it." Oh, he laughed.
Wow.
He was an amazing coach. I went up there and watched him play one time under him, and fundamentals.
Great basketball mom. Yeah. I talked to Boo Ricks and LT about him. Yeah, great basketball mom. Yeah.
Oh man, and I watched him. He just preached fundamentals. That's when I first saw, guy going down on a break, instead of just a regular chest pass, bounce pass. Bounce pass, man. I was like, okay. They use bounce pass.
It makes sense now. It makes sense where some of those drills came from now that you had us doing now.
And he preached fundamentals. But that was like I said, the Jan Bennett loss and the Chopticon loss, because back then in '73 they had the men's title, basketball. So, big. That was a tough swallow, very tough pill.
I bet.
We had a real good team.
And see, that's why I'm glad you're on here, because one thing I always tell people, I mean, you're an historian of the game, and there's so many teams I didn't know about. Like you said, actually, I didn't learn about the 6'8" team until you said something. It might have been on Shelton Hawkins' post when we were talking about the 98 team versus the 88 team, and then you were talking about 68. And I actually went and did some research on the 6'8" team. I was actually able to find some old clips, and I mean, they were awesome. They were awesome. So I'm glad you shared that about that.
Well, they got inducted into the Easton High School Athletic Hall of Fame, and the coach came back, and the coach left Maryland and went to Ohio and coached there, and he had a phenomenal record. But he got up there and talking, and he said a lot of people thought, because they were good offensively, that their starting five was really good. He said, but you know what, our defense is pretty daggone good too, and he was right. That was probably I must say this. When they played the regional finals that year, they played Maces Lane, and they played at the Salisbury Center, and you couldn't have found another spot there. You couldn't have found another seat. And of course, my family, we were and everything like that. And Easton won by 1 point. Probably one of the best high school games. I don't think either team was up by 2 or 3 points, and this and that.
Really? Back and forth. That's, yeah.
And the thing about the 68 team was they had a good team. They had a good starting five, but they had a bench. They had two guards, Ezra Blake and Rocky Ainsworth. If they got in foul trouble, Donnie Gibson he was from Oxford, and Larry Heyman, Heyman's brother. And with those two guys, Larry Heyman played defense. He shut them down. And then they had a guy come off the bench, Warren Webb, who was about 6'5". So their big guys got in trouble. Here they come. They had they had a team. But I still say, like we talked about this, in my opinion, this is my opinion, and I'm not always right, but the 88 team, in my opinion, was the best starting team come out of Easton.
Was that the best Easton team? Now, I'm glad you said that. I know Donnie was going to see that. I mean, their starting five, I had to go back and look at that, because I started watching ball in about 96, 97. So obviously, I wasn't old enough to see it. So I went back and did some research. I mean, you had Donnie or Dwayne Seaford. I know he's watching. A shout out to Dwayne. Wes Cornish, Wayne Wilson. I mean, there's Deion Gibson, our former. He was my assistant coach. He coached with you. Their starting five was basically averaging about 100 points a game.
Absolutely, they were just unbelievable. And they went to College Park, and I talked to Deion about it, and I talked to Dontre about it, and they just said, you know what, we picked a bad night to play our worst game, and they almost beat.
Yeah,
they
still almost beat. Right. They got some foul trouble. I think Daniel picked up a couple fouls early, and I think maybe West. But I'm glad you shared that, though. I know your word means a lot. So if you say that because you've seen it with your own eyes, then no, I'm gonna definitely go by that, because that's always a hot topic.
Well, the team that Shelton's talking about, they were the thing that got me about that team, their bench. They had Bunky Murray.
Their depth was unbelievable.
Oh my God, they had Bunk sitting on the bench, and D'Antoine Blanc around anybody. I was like, watching, like, and Sheldon was right that they were just creaming everybody, and then that little incident happened.
Same thing, right, and then they picked the bad time to have a bad game. So Coach, and I appreciate you giving that insight, because again, that actually helps me even for future shows. So I do want to have future shows where I get a couple from this team, and people that really seen the game. So I appreciate you definitely sharing that. Let me ask you though about going back to you for a second. After high school, from my understanding, you went to Chesapeake, and if I'm not mistaken, I think you're in the Chesapeake Hall of Fame in 2003 inducted, and also then you went to SU. So talk a little bit about Chesapeake and about Salisbury.
Sure. Just let me tell you this: when I graduated from high school, I didn't know what to do. I really didn't do it. I didn't know what to do. And my dad's like, well, I can tell you this, what you're not going to do. You're not going to sit home. So, I worked.
Mr. Gene didn't play that.
I went to work, So I worked for Bayshore Foods in a chicken hatchery. And after a year working there, and man, I worked with some men. And they basically told me, said, look, you don't want to do this the rest of your life. I go, yeah, I know. I just don't know what to do. He said, then I went up and watched my brother play baseball one day at Easton High School, because my brother Bill's just younger than I am. and the coach from Chesapeake was there, Ed Baker. And he said, hey, like, Mike, what are you doing? I said, I'm working. He says, when do you have the next day off? And I told him, he said, why don't you come up to Chesapeake College? I want to talk to you. So I went up there and talked to him. I talked to a gentleman by the name of Mo Hickey and another gentleman by the name of Jack Sistriano. And what incredible men. They said, so went up there and, my parents got to see me play. I never played soccer before, so I went up there and played soccer, played basketball.
Oh, yeah?
And baseball. And Ed Baker was probably the most, just let me say, he could motivate anybody. He could motivate. He was probably the best motivator.
Get you ready to play.
Good fundamental teacher, but motivate. Oh, he knew what light to flick on in the back of that head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tell you what else I remember about playing basketball at Chesapeake. I could run all day long. He ran the you-know-what out of us. And I was like, I can remember my first practice, he goes, all right, everybody grab a rope. He had jump ropes out there. We jumped the rope. I'm like, all right, we're gonna play some basketball or what? Keep on jumping. And he does. Remember those line drills we used to do? There's 3 different line drills.
Indeed I do, Coach. Indeed I do.
That's where I got.
Indeed I do.
If D. Skinner, you're out there listening to me, I remember that first day.
He listening.
He's gonna look at me and say, man, this is crazy. I'm like, that's what we did in college.
Hey, you sound just like him, Coach. He on here.
But oh God, and I can remember just playing the Chesapeake and going up there, and I never got tired. So he prepared us for the game, especially he prepared you physically as well as mentally. And then baseball, I kind of made a name for myself up there playing JUCO and playing baseball and left there. And I applied to a school called Slippery Rock State College, which is up near an hour north of Pittsburgh. And I got some scholarship money to go up there, but it was probably cheaper for me to go down to Salisbury. So Coach Baker from Chesapeake called the coach at Salisbury and, put a good word in for me. And next thing I know, I'm going down to Salisbury. And, oh, my God, probably that was a good move. Good move. We had two guys on our team that went professional. And probably the third, I played with a shortstop, but he was from Camden, Delaware. Robin Knight was his name. And if he hadn't he tore his rotator cuff his junior year. He led the country in home runs from shortstop. He was a shortstop. And,
is that right?
Yeah. And, to this day, we're still friends. And that's the thing about college. And you can talk to my guys about college. You can talk to your dad about college. You got lifelong friends.
Yep. Lifelong friends. Yep.
Still talk. My roommate who played lacrosse, but that don't make him a bad person. But, he calls me at least twice a month. We call it, and we talk to each other and everything like that. But we were the first team at Salisbury to go to the NCAA regionals, baseball. So, yeah. And my senior year, we lost in the regionals. We lost to a team called back then they were called Glassboro State College. They're now called what are they called now, Lance? It's a school up in New Jersey. Nice school.
I was going to say it must be Jersey because I know Glassboro, New Jersey. I used to do service work for Glassboro. Yeah.
Glassboro. What's the name of the school now? Golly, I can't think of it now. Anyway, they beat us in regional finals, and they went to Division III College World Series to the Final 8, and they won it all.
Oh wow! And they won it. Oh wow!
They had 2 guys on the team. The one guy was center fielder by the name of Dino Hall. He played 4 years of football. He was like 5'8", 165 pounds, and he could run. And I watched him play Glassboro play Salisbury in football that fall, and he played running back. Oh my God! He go around the end, he was gone.
It was out.
He hit it inside the Parker against us. That's how fast he was.
Wow, inside the Parker? Yeah, that's fast. Yeah.
Off the fence. By the time our center fielder got off the fence, he was about midway between second and third. And we got home. Yeah. They had a right fielder by the name of Lance Lancelotti, who I was sporting news to see these guys I played in college. He got up to AAA. Boy, sweet swing. He had left-handed big guy. Sweet swing on him, man. But good memories of Salisbury. That coach, the coach I had there by the name of Dean Deshawn, unbelievable baseball mind. I learned so much from him. So much from him. I just soaked it all in. And I tell you what else I learned up there. I remember my first day of practice, right? Practice at 3 o'clock. So, I get there 3 o'clock. Half the team's already there. I said, man,
they there early. Yeah.
What time did you get here? He said 2. He said, Butler, I get here 2 o'clock, man. I said, really? I said, if I come out here an hour early? He said, no, man, come on out here. We come out here. Come out here to have a good team.
Or work.
There you go. Yeah, man. He worked, man. Yeah. So I learned from Ed Baker about work ethic. You got to work. You got to work at it. You got to work at your craft. Whether it's baseball, you got to work at it. So anyway,
got to put the work in. Got to put the work in. Yeah, for sure. And you played, and was it in baseball and football? Was it? I know you were talking about your mom and how great an athlete she was, and obviously your dad as well. Did you play shortstop or second? Was it shortstop you played in baseball?
Second base.
Second base.
Yeah.
And then football. Football is what? Linebacker, fullback.
Linebacker and fullback.
Linebacker, fullback. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that's great. And
what was really good, my brother and I played side by side. That was cool.
Oh, okay.
Cool. That's cool that you had a brother, because my senior year we had 3 sets of brothers on the team. We had myself and Bill. We had Donnie and Mark Brown. I know you know Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown used to be a custodian out to Easton High School. It was his son.
Yeah, Mr. Donald Brown.
Donald Brown. Yeah. Donnie Brown. Yeah. Son named Mark. Mark's a retired state trooper now. And we had brothers, Glennie and Gary Williams. Now, Glennie was only a freshman, and he started. Mm-hmm. He started for 4 years in football.
He started as a freshman. Wow, man, that's tough. That's tough.
Gary. I see Gary around all the time. Gary went in the military. Then I think he went in the National Guard. And Glennie went into the Army out of school. But we had 6 brothers, and all of us started. That was crazy. 6 sets of brothers.
That is crazy. You don't see that. I bet you probably never seen it again. 3 sets of brothers? Nah. Yeah.
We run Glennie and Glennie as a freshman was like 190 pounds, as a freshman, and we're like, man, this guy. And Mr. Burris was our coach. He said, man, we're gonna play him.
That's cool.
4 years. So
that's great. That's great. Yeah. Tough, man. College is great.
And Friday night,
college is great.
Friday night lights with basketball. I tell you, that's Friday nights, man. You got, what are you doing tonight? We're going to basketball game. Game. Yeah, pack them in. Oh yeah, back in the late early 70s, 70s for sure, absolutely. Probably in the 80s, 88 team. That 88 team, they would pack them in there, buddy. Pack them in, watch them play. Absolutely.
I bet. Yeah, and listen, Coach, when we get off of here, I want to make sure that you check the comments, because you got a lot of great comments. I only want to go over all of them because everybody is just like, I know Shelton's on here. He's talking about how I thought I had a great memory. Your memory is incredible, and that's what Shelton had said too. And LT said one of his favorite guys, D. Skinner's on here. He said he'll never forgive you for running for those lines. So it's a lot of great stuff.
On the line, man. I remember those words.
On the line. On the line. Yeah.
Pivot. What was the other one? Suicides. Of course, everybody did suicides. He had 3
suicide.
Oh, Lord.
Man. So listen, and I got something funny I got to ask you too, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. Hopefully, D. Ricketts and D. Skinner stay out here. But if I say Watkins Auto Supply, if I say that name, what is that? What memory does that come up for you? Watkins Auto Supply.
That was men's softball, and that was a year that I started out playing men's softball with a team called Rose Snack Bar, and Rose Snack. And this is very, very competitive men's softball. It's called modified.
It was. I seen all the yeah.
And we played for a team. Oh my gosh, just great memories, because in 70, I think Rose Snack Bar, we started in 76. In 77, we had a record of 51-4. And yeah, we were tough. Won the tournament. And you go to back then, you played in tournaments, and a lot of people those tournaments back then at these small towns made money for these small towns. And in 78, we won. Back then, they had the first modified softball state championship, and we won it.
Oh, okay.
So state commissioner comes up there. He said, guys want to go to Spokane, Washington? We go,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Or why? What are we going to do there? You're going to play softball, play for the national championship. I said, yeah, we'll go.
Wow.
Probably going to cost you about 10 grand. And back in 78, 10 grand, a little bit of money. So we did fun. We went to businesses, this and that. We got our 10,000. We went out there and finished third.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that was, oh God, yeah. And probably one of our best hitters was Wally Knox.
Wally Knox, yeah. I came across his name a lot, Wally Knox. He's one of the names I got written down. John Kaufman, Wally Knox.
Oh, yeah. Well, Wally, let's see. I think we left on like a Wednesday morning. That Tuesday night we had practice, and after practice, one of our players told Wally could run. Wally was 195 pounds and could run a 4.540, no problem. And then one of the players said, "I can beat you in a race, Wally." And I'll tell you who it was. The gentleman's name was Wiggy Brohorn, whose son.
Wiggy Brohorn.
Yeah, whose son. Troy Brohorn played professional baseball for the Giants and the Diamondbacks, won a World Series ring with the Diamondbacks, and he's now the head coach at Salisbury University. Unbelievable baseball.
Oh, wow. 2001 Diamondbacks. Okay, yeah.
His father played one of the best arms from center field I've ever seen. And anyway, Wiggy, we call it everybody, his name was Charles Brohorn. Everybody called him Wiggy. Of course, everybody had a nickname back then. Everybody had a nickname. And Wally, we called him Bonehead. Bonehead says, "I can beat you in a race." I said, all right. So they got on the foul line. They run, right? About 50 yards. Wally stops. And, he pulled a hammy. Pulled a hammy. And, he's calling Baltimore Colts trainer and what to do, ice it, this and that. He played, but he wasn't 100%. I still say if we had a 100% Wally, we'd have won that whole thing. But we ended up losing to a team from Minnesota by a run. And we lost to a team from Miami, Florida by a couple runs. But, we had we were down by 10 runs on this team from Louisiana, fourth inning. And we came back and beat them by 12.
God, you're down and down 10 runs in softball ain't easy to come back from. Yeah. Wow.
One inning. We had a boy on our team by the name Craig Knopp. I know you know that family name, Knopp.
Yeah.
Craig
Yep.
hit the ball 350 feet that day. It's the longest softball I've ever seen hit by somebody that I personally knew. He did. And we had a good team. And we had a real good coach.
Your brothers played on there too, right? Both your brothers play on there, or just Bill?
Bill did. Mitch was only like 17 or 18. Mitch was still in high school, and he was baseball. But we had a real good coach. Probably the best baseball coach ever. Yeah, baseball.
That's awesome. It's crazy because it wasn't until I got to college, and I used to work at Dick's Sporting Goods in Salisbury, and I used to be the head of team sports, and I would see these expensive softball bats, men's league softball bats. I mean, these bats were $200, $300, $400. I used to be thinking, why are these bats so high? It wasn't until then I realized how competitive that it was. It's very, very competitive. When I started looking up stuff for you, I mean, I seen I think it was Ashley Insurance. So I think you played for them once, and then I seen that one, and I seen a bunch of others, but very, very competitive.
Yeah, we played teams I played on. I'm trying to think. Played on nine state championship titles. So that means I went to nine nationals.
That's
I've been
crazy.
Outside of Atlanta, been to Spokane, Washington 3 times. Very nice place. Austin, Minnesota, been there. Schenectady, New York, been there. So you get to travel, and that's really cool because you get to travel. And I remember
you get to travel with.
Went to Spokane in 78, and we went there in 82. And there's this guy goes, "Hey, I remember you guys. You guys played for Rose Snack Bar from Easton, Maryland a couple years ago." And I'm like, "I remember that." And this guy, he's like, "Oh man," he said, "I love softball." He said, "Yeah, so yeah, a lot of good times. And I play on some really good team. Rose Snack Bar, Miller Beer of Easton. Oh God, we had some unbelievable softball players. Ashley Insurance, and then played for a team, GM Giant, and we had a real coach. We had a good coach then. He wasn't the best coach I ever had, but he was a good coach. Dury.
He was a good coach. Oh, okay. Okay.
Dury just passed away not too long ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
The best ball coach I ever had was my dad. So I'll leave that at that
Yeah.
because, he taught me the fundamentals, and he taught me the fundamentals because he had a good coach when he was in high school. And the gentleman's name was by the name of John Selby from up in Queen Anne's County, and he's like a god up there.
Okay. Okay, I've heard that name. Okay. When did you decide to because one thing with you, I don't know how you got time because you between coaching, between umpiring, between teaching, and then your family, you stay busy. I know me and you had talked, even before we got on, but when did you decide to get in coaching? Because I know that I think it was 98-99. I think that's when you started, with JV football, and then we talked about you being the offense coordinator for that 9-1 team. Dennis Hardy, Porky, he's on here. He said, "What's up?" But for his senior year team. But when do you start getting into coaching? When do you want to do that?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be. My dad coaches Little League baseball, and he coaches 1 year in football. And my dad never even played football. He played soccer. At the school he went to, have football. But he fundamentals. I remember blocking, tackling, play execution. There's your fundamentals right there, and that's what we're going to do. And listen, we had some good teams. We had some good, and Dad knew how to recruit. Dad knew how to draft, right? And my dad would always draft young guys, or I should say students, children that had brothers. First draft was one of the Clark brothers, Walter Clark. Walter had Mario.
Okay. Mario Clark. Mario played my dad.
Yeah, there you go. Mario, unbelievable. Walter was a good athlete. Tony Clark was a good athlete. Tyrone Clark, and then Pops Clark. There was 5 Clark. All my dad coached every one of them.
Wow.
And Mr. and Mrs. Clark were good people. They lived down Point Road.
Still remember.
Mr. Clark was a chef at the Tidewater Inn. Yep. So
Wow.
but always draft somebody. Say, oh, he's got a brother. Oh yeah, we got to.
That's smart. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he get. So anyway, that was that, and the year I was working at Bayshore Foods, I had a gentleman come to me and ask me if I would like to help him coach. I said, man, I'd like to try that because when I was 18, I refereed. I went out there and refereed, and I kind of liked refereeing, but he said, come on out and coach. And it was Mr. Frank Robinson, who had 3 good sons, Frank Jr., Craig, and Gerald. And he had an unbelievable daughter, just an unbelievable man. He played college football. He had a brother that played college and professional football, and his brother's in the NFL Hall of Fame, Dave Robinson, who played linebacker for the Redskins. And he got me into it. I learned so much from that man. I learned, number one, about you got to be patient with the kids, and because sometimes I kind of like lose it. But he got me started. What a nice man. He did so much for me, and just a very nice man. And the Robinsons were a good family. The Clarks were a good family. But that's who got me started, So, and then when I went to Chesapeake, Ed Baker got me really into it. And then when I went to Salisbury, Coach Deshaun, and taught me a lot too. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna coach. So, but after coaching for a while, every night you get home 7 o'clock, 7:30, and do 3 sports. Because my first year out of college, I coached football, basketball, and baseball. And of course, I was 24 years old. I wasn't tired. I did 1 year, and I was in my 40s. I was beat. There's a gentleman up in Queens County who passed away from ALS. We'll talk about ALS later. Schipple. He did 3 teams, 3 sports for like close to 30 years. And I was like,
how do you do it? I know, man.
Oh, yeah. And times like so, I'm getting home every night. So I said, you know what? I was refereeing Pop Warner football on the weekends. I said, you know what? I think I might want to officiate from now on, because that way I'm only going on Friday nights or Saturdays.
Got you.
But, I was getting up there, and so, and I enjoyed it. And like I said, I umpire too, and I really enjoy umpiring. I really enjoy it. I said, but I'm telling you right now, Lance, after being this is my 21st year at Easton Elementary School, I read a book the other day about legacy, leaving a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave my legacy. I do.
Coach, I'm telling you, you've done that, and I can't wait till we get off of here and you read some of these comments. I mean, everybody loves you, Coach. I mean,
man,
trust me, you've left it. You've left it. Yeah.
But
yeah, you left it.
Love in there. Not enough love in this world today. You know that, Lance. I mean, I know.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. But I read a book about legacy. I was like, I'm going to leave a legacy as being a good teacher. And that's probably my best friend now is Brian Femi. All right. Let me shout out.
Yeah.
Right. Best teacher of baseball skills I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I've worked in this camp now for 20 years, 20 summers. Just the most unbelievable teacher. I learned something every summer about baseball, a game I really love. Best teacher. And, you know, he could go right now. He could go to any professional team and could coach. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Not a doubt. You know,
I've heard that same thing from Mr. Femi and about you from Mike Turner that went to St. Michael's, a great baseball player from St. Michael's, Michael Turner. You know, so he said the same thing, and I see him in camps and helping out and stuff too. Yep.
You know, you ever talk about who Mike Turner played with in rookie ball?
No.
Mike Trout.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. He did tell me that story. He did tell me about Mike Trout. He talked about how big he was and how he could hit and just how good he was. And, you know, I did talk to Mike about it because we used to play in the Glen Burnie League together, basketball. So we would always talk, you know, on the rides and stuff like that when we did ride together. Mike
told us, you know, he said he could not believe how humble he was. How humble.
Yeah, that's what he told me too. Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, man. You know what? Before it's over with, Mike Trout might go down as the best baseball player to ever live.
I think so, Coach. I think so. He's on that trajectory. Yeah.
Absolutely. He's going that way, you know.
Five-tool player. Five-tool player. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, hopefully he doesn't get hurt or have a major injury or anything like that because, you know, finding a five-tool player is pretty difficult nowadays. Like,
yeah.
And he's
it is.
30 yet?
Yeah, I know. Still, yeah. I mean, he's still young. Yeah. So I agree. You know, we had that. It's funny you say that. Let me pick your brain. Stay on baseball for a second. Let me pick your brain. Because I know you were saying Trout has the trajectory to possibly beat it, and I've heard that before. I can't remember who I had on the podcast, and we talked about. Oh, actually, I was on POV Mason's podcast, Devon POV Mason. We were talking about the best baseball player, and we mentioned names like Barry Bonds and A-Rod and guys like that. Who would you say, you know, if you had to pick someone, you've seen more guys than we've seen. Who would you say is that person right now? You know, I know Trout could get there, but who would you say is right there with him?
Now, do you want me to say who I ever saw or who? Because I can pick out somebody that I never did see, and I could tell you, well, I think he was probably the GOAT of all time. You know, was the GOAT.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do it whether you seen or didn't seen it, because I know you're a historian of the game. So
I'm gonna say Babe Ruth, and here's why.
It is a Babe. Mm-hmm.
And here's why. When he first came up as a professional, he wasn't an outfielder. He was a pitcher. He was the best pitcher in the game for 5-6 years. Nobody could touch him.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got hurt. Then he became the greatest hitter at his time. So as far as I'm concerned, he was the greatest pitcher at his time. Then he was the greatest hitter at his time. That makes him, you know.
That's a great point. Yeah, when you put it like that.
Yeah, I asked my dad who he thought was the greatest player of all time. He didn't even blink his eye. He said Joe DiMaggio. And I said, okay, Dad, that's fine. I never saw him play. Why? He said, because he made everything look so easy. He said, you never saw him dive for a ball in the outfield. He said, you never saw him get thrown out from first and third. He said, and, you know, he had that 56-game hitting streak. And he said, I don't think anybody's ever going to break that. He said, and he had 4 years, I think it's three or 4 years taken from him because he was in the service.
Yeah, in service, yeah.
I tell you what, if I would say greatest all time, I got Babe, and then I got Willie Mays.
Well, Willie Mays, yeah.
5-tool player.
Yeah, 5-tool.
5-tool player. He could hit, he could run, he could hit for power, he could play defense. and he had a heck of an arm. Now, Femi's best player was Clemente.
Okay. Roberto Clemente, yeah.
What an unbelievable, yeah. But that's just my take on it, you know. And
yeah,
I don't,
no, that's fine.
You know, when people say other people's names, I don't argue. I just, you know, it's like, yeah, I mean, that's, because there's great baseball players. And if you ever have the chance,
a lot of great.
If you ever have a chance to go up to Cooperstown, go. It's like, it's this eerie, when you go into the Hall of Fame, because it's a museum, you got this eerie feeling, especially ones that have passed away.
I bet.
You know,
I bet.
Like, wow, man. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it's a kind of cool little town, but, you know, everything there. Yeah. And I was so happy that Harold Banks got in because he deserved.
Me too.
You know, facts, baby, facts. He had a year and a half taken away from him because of his knee. It was that 1 year and then a half he went on straight. And everybody, well, he didn't get 3,000 hits. Well, you know what? If he had a year and a half, give it, you know, back, he would have got 3,000. So I did some research.
He definitely would have.
Yeah, more hits than Yogi Berra. Well, Yogi Berra didn't play as long as Harold Baines. I said, well, you know what? I was told the guy, he's not listening. He's from New York City. Chris Russo, he's on the Heat. He got on there slamming my man Harold. Man, I was on that phone. I said, man, come on now. I said, talk facts.
I know what you mean. Yeah, because when that was going on, I read a lot of articles. They were like, Harold Baines, you shouldn't get in. I'm like, y'all need to look back at his stats, you know, because his longevity, you know, was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You know, and when he had his knees were good, he was, you know, he was all-star right fielder. You know, and Harold could do it all. My brother, I think I played against Harold my senior year. He was a freshman. And baseball and basketball, but he played American Legion baseball with my brother Bill. And I remember they had a state Legion tournament here in Easton, right? And Easton played Bowie. And they were defending champs, and they were good. And the coach for Easton said, you know, put Harold up there first, you know. And Harold was, and back then, didn't have aluminum back then, Lance. Didn't have aluminum.
I know.
74, right? And all you could hear was whack, whack, whack.
Good, great.
These guys are over there looking at Harold, you know, and Harold's like, you know, he was tall and skinny, you know, of course, you know, it was only, and I was, they ended up beating Easton like 1-0 that night, but Harold could, he could just absolutely hit. I'm gonna tell you a story about St. Michael's basketball, Lance.
Go ahead.
All right. Senior year, we played St. Michael's in Easton, and we handled them pretty good. Now back then, St. Michael's had a good team. Now they had Kevin Chester,
they did.
Nathaniel Trott, Kevin Milton, who I went to Salisbury with, great guy. And we went down. So we're going to St. Michael's. Their gym, I think this was their second year in their new gym. Second year.
Okay.
But we go in there, watch the JV game. It's packed. St. Michael's were going off. The fans from Easton were going off. Man, it's good, you know. So when we come out of the locker room, I was the first one because I was the shortest one. We went from height, you know, shortest to tallest.
Right.
Everybody ready? They said, yeah, let's go. Little did I know they had a little plan, right? I ran out there and like, yeah, let's go. And people started laughing at me, man. Laughing at me.
You by yourself.
I turned around. They all back
by yourself. Yeah.
Everybody there were laughing their butts off. And, you know, it's like, all right, we're cool now. We're relaxed now. We went out.
Yeah.
We beat them that night. But, oh, my God, I turned around. My family's there. My parents there. I was like, oh, wow, man. I love it. Marty Bailey Sr., Alfred Brooks. They're back there just laughing, man. I'm like,
oh, man.
Gotta love it. We're good for the night.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, I got
staying on baseball for a sec, if you don't mind. Your Orioles have played a lot better than people, you know, thought. I think they're 12-0 right now, third in the AL East. You know, what's your? What do you feel about the Orioles? I mean, I know, you know, it's not like they're projected high, but you know they've had a good start to the year with everything going on. How you feel about the Orioles going forward?
I think number one, I think they're being very patient, very, very patient, and which is a good thing. Their general manager, I think, the owners are just letting. Are you with me, Lance?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. the owners are just basically are letting the manager and the general manager do their job. So that's what I like.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, they got some draft picks. You know, they got some guys down on the farm that can play, and you know, he's being patient with these guys. So I, of course, I think it was last year I told somebody, give the Orioles about 3 years. These young arms are going to come up, you know, this and that. But they're very surprising, and you know, they're playing hard. They're playing the best they can. And Santander hitting 2 off of Scherzer, and Scherzer's tough.
Scherzer's tough. He's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, but
cool.
They're being patient, you know, and they know things like that take time, and you know, and then they, that catcher they got, Rushman, and you know, they're just, I think they'll be fine. But don't be surprised. They might get in the playoffs. You know? You
never know. I mean, especially with a short season, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm a Yankee fan, so I know I'm wrong for that, but you know.
I got the Yankees. If I was to pick 2 teams, I'd be the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series. The Yankees.
Dodgers. That's what most people were saying.
I watched them against the Orioles. My gosh, they, I mean, Judge got hurt. They put somebody else in there that hit the ball out.
Stan got hurt. Same thing. Yep. And
they got a good manager. You know, he's pretty. He lets the guys play, and he's Aaron Boone's not great. He's not very vocal or anything like that. He just lets the guys play. I think the same thing with the manager for the Orioles. He lets them play, and but he runs the show. He runs the show.
Gotcha. Appreciate you sharing that. Going back to high school for a second. Let me know for you. I want to get to basketball in a second. I want to get to our team that you coach, but staying on football for a second. What would you say the biggest difference is for you? Because you've been an offensive coordinator on the Easton teams. You've also been a head coach. I know you were offensive coordinator, like I said, on those early 2000 teams, and then you end up being a head coach, 2008 to 2010, if I'm not mistaken. What's the biggest difference? I know even though you were a head coach, you were still taking on a lot of the offensive identity and play calling. What would you say the biggest difference is with the two?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, I learned a lot. When I was a head coach, and the first thing I learned was and I talked to Brian. I talked to Coach Femi about that. He said, Mike, don't be afraid to delegate authority. So my first coaching and everything like that, I did, and I tried to do everything by myself, which was wrong. So following you after that, you know what? You're the defensive coordinator. You run the defense. You're not going to hear anything from me unless if you come and ask me a question, I'll give you my opinion. All right. You're running the offense. You run the offense. You're not going to hear anything from me. So in our meetings, our meetings were cordial and this and that. So I learned that. You know what else I learned about coaching, Lance? Not to get off subject, but
no, you good, Coach.
In football you can go with basketball and baseball. You have to number one, you got to evaluate the kids that you have. Number two, you have to suit like your offense and your defense around your personnel, right?
Right, personnel.
The year we had Porky and Brandon Jenkins and Todd Stoker, we ran the wing tee. Todd Stoker was a perfect quarterback because he could throw a little bit and he could run. Yep. And we had 2 good running backs, and they both could block.
Man, I tell you, they was good grief. They were a combination. I tell you.
A couple years before that, they had Bunk Murray on Bunk's out there. Man, Bunk could throw. They should have just let him back there like that kid they got now for Easton. They just let him throw. And because he could throw, and Bunk could throw. And Bunk had some couple receivers too. So you got to dictate your offense or defense to the personnel you have. You know what I mean? Like, if you got 2 6'7" guys, you're going to pound the ball down inside. If you got we didn't have much height, so hopefully you try to run a spread, like a Princeton offense. Cut, give and go, this and that. Set some picks, this and that. You got to spread it out a little bit. So that's what I learned. And if you don't know what to do with the advent of the computer now, they got CDs on how to coach the Princeton offense. They got CDs now DVDs on how to run the wing tee. They got DVDs now how to spread it out and run the spread offense. Baseball, I talked to Brian. Brian one year said, Mike, we don't have anybody can hit the ball over the fence. He said, we're going to have to play small ball. I said, really? He said, you got some speed. I got some boys that can bunt the ball. Look out.
Yeah.
He said, our kids get on first base. We're running. So you got to do that. You know? Now, in the one year, they had 3 or 4 guys in there that could hit the ball out of the ballpark whenever. So, you know, it's,
yeah.
You know, but that's what
that makes sense. That makes perfect sense what you said about delegating, because that's a perfect transition even to basketball. Because I remember, for people that don't know, you coached me. Well, you coached me JV, ninth grade, and then 11th grade varsity. You coached me. That was 2001, 2002 year. And one thing you did then, I don't know if you remember, but you delegated, and you had Dion Gibson, you had Gibbo handle the defense, and you handled the offense, and that was kind of unusual for basketball. You didn't really have that delegating, but you doing that, it was key, and I liked it. You know, you didn't find a lot of people doing that. So you saying that now, it makes sense to how you delegate, because a lot of coaches wouldn't have done that. A lot of coaches want to handle it all, you know, at one time. So
you're just And look, Brian, I go down and watch Brian's team play when I umpire down at St. Michael's, and he delegates authority, and he's got some great coaches. Them guys do know baseball, and they know how to boom, 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 and good to go to one of his practices. Wow, just unbelievable. That's why I learned about practice from Ed Baker and Chesapeake College. Everything, boom, boom, boom. Hour and a half, we're done. See you. Now, if you guys want to stay like that, I'll stay around. But everything was, everything was cohesive. Everything was just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, And getting back to teaching, and teaching is coaching, because our kids today, I'm just talking about kids at Easton Elementary School, they love routine. They want routine. They do.
They want routine.
Yeah. When they come in that gym, boom, it's right up there. What are we doing today? It's right up there. All right.
That's true. That's a good point.
All right, you guys know where to sit down. Let's go. We're ready to go. Let's go. And they're like, let's roll. And run them.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Get on the line.
That makes sense. And you know what? That's a good point when you talk about routine, because, especially with the environment, and I don't know how you feel about, but the environment with COVID and everything going on with the virtual learning and, all that routine was, been disrupted. So like you said, finding that routine, was key for kids. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. My oldest granddaughter is, it was hurting her. She didn't see her friends every day. A lot of kids didn't see their friends every day. This and that. It was tough. It was hard on the kids. So I can't wait to get them back again. Daggone. So hopefully we'll prayers, and hopefully everything will just go back to normal and everything like that, man. Everything like that.
Exactly. We're gonna hit on a few things. I appreciate everybody listening to Real Sports Fan Podcast here with Coach Butler. I want to talk about a few more things and get them out of here. Coach, I want to talk to you about our 2001-2002 team. Now D. Ricks and D. Skinner, they on here laughing because they never make me forget, which I remember some, but maybe it's one of the things I want to forget. But they claim that one of the practices, their JV team beat us in a scrimmage, and you got so mad that you kicked the ball in the stands and told us to get some effing discipline. Now, Coach, hey, Coach,
I have
do
a
you
good
remember
memory.
that moment?
I don't have I think I have a good memory, but I know this D. Skinner doesn't lie. So if D. Skinner said I did it, then I'll remember it. I don't remember it.
I told her. I don't remember too much either. But one thing I will say about that year is I tell everybody, and some people don't believe me, and I was telling Skinner this, is that I think my 11th grade team was actually deeper than my 12th grade team. You talking about 1 through 12, and I think that was one of the issues that you even had to manage all those personalities, because think about it, we had Lance Hood and Colin Krause that came from Safety and Paul that didn't play a lot. I think Colin played a lot in the Kent game because we had a lot of injuries, but we were deep. We had Donnie Cooper and Turtle and Casey, me, Cavi, Dixon, Barnett, Matt Blue. I'm probably missing a couple of people, but the list goes on. Brandon Jenkins, I think. So what do you remember about that year? Because I don't know if you remember, we started off real good. We were 3-0, and then we ended up being 5-2. I remember. Then what happened was we lost 4 or 5, but then we won 4 or 5. So one thing I always loved about you always taught me about it's a game of runs. The basketball is a game of runs. And the season that's how the season was. It was a season of runs. We were hot, we were cold, we were hot, we were cold. So what do you remember, just about that year?
Well, number one, it's we number one, I think the thing that really hurt us the most, we didn't have much height. I
No,
think
we didn't.
and Casey
I was playing a 5.
Casey was probably our tallest starter.
He was. Yeah, he was.
And then we had Jermaine Dixon and Chris Barnett. Now Chris could jump, and Chris was tough, and everybody gave 100%, but Casey wasn't. Because midway in the season, because we got on run, we put Casey at the point.
That was key, Coach. You moved Casey to the point and brought Antoine in. That was key to the run. Yep.
Because all right, and my way of thinking, Dion and I used to talk to Dion a lot about it. You know what? He's our best ball player. It's like, all right, let's put the ball in his hands. It's just like in football. Dennis Hardy, he's the best player. We're playing Cambridge, and we were coming back on him. We're going to feed the horse. And like Casey, he was our best ball player. Let's give him the ball. Give him the ball, and let's run some offense, do this and do that. We want to try to keep the ball in his hands as much as we can, because he didn't turn the ball over that much,
No, he didn't.
When we did that, Casey was at 6'3", 6'4". He was our tallest guy, and of course Jermaine and Chris did a good job rebounding. But that night we went over and played North Carolina, and remember they had those two big guys. I mean,
they had Sean Brown, Jamie Elsley, Maurice Jensen.
They were big boys, and I'm like, oh God. And we ended up playing them in the regionals, and they beat us. Of course, they ended up losing to Easton High, who won the state that year, and
who won the states.
And they won undefeated. And speaking of basketball, their coach is still coaching down there.
Still coaching. Butch is still coaching. Butch Waller still coaching. We talking about another day.
He coached in Easton High in '73 when we played him. Seriously.
Are you serious? God, that's crazy.
I think
I had. Do you remember on that team? Do you remember Craig Wander? He was on that. He was on that team, and I had him as a guest back in last October. He came to the house and we did a session.
Get out of here! Is that the kid?
He's doing good.
Didn't he play at Texas?
Went to Texas, played with Durant. Played with LaMarcus Aldridge. Yeah, he's doing good.
I think he went JUCO. I think he went up to Cecil.
Went to Cecil first.
Yeah,
sure did.
Went up Cecil and played because I remember watching him on TV. He played for Texas. I'm like, wait a minute, that kid's because his junior year he didn't play for High. He played for Mardella.
He played for Mardella. That's right. He played for Mardella. Yeah, sure did.
I used to play a lot of softball in Mardella, and I had some friends that said, we got this kid playing, but next year he's not going to play for us. He's going to High. I'm like, they're going to be mighty tough to beat. And they were.
Mighty tough. They already was tough. Sure was.
Right.
Yeah. But you said it though, Coach. Like you said, moving Casey to the point, not only did it put the ball in his hands, but also allowed me and Cavi just to really concentrate just on scoring and me rebounding. Because one thing I can say about you, I became a better overall player, with you. My 10th grade year, I was mostly just a shooter. But I became a better rebounder, overall better scorer, better passer, as well. So it just allowed us to kind of, like you said, run the lanes, pick our spots and stuff like that. And we went on a nice run, after that happened. That's how we won those 4 or 5 when we did that switch, so.
Yep. Well, thank you, Lance. I appreciate that, man.
No problem. No problem.
We had a good time. We had fun, had a good time.
That's right.
And I learned a lot. And I hope everybody, all the young men learned a lot, So yeah.
Yeah, we did, Coach. We did.
Yes, indeed. Well, getting back to basketball. Well, football that year, and Dennis Hardy's on there. We were 9-1 that year.
9-1. Yep.
Didn't make the playoffs. And back then they took the top 2 teams. Wait a minute. No, they took the top 8 teams out of the state. It didn't make any difference if you were region or not or anything like that. Just so happened that year, out of the top 8 teams, 6 of them were undefeated.
Yeah, that's crazy.
2 other ones had 1 loss. And we missed the playoffs by like a 2 1,000ths of a point or something like that. And that was hard on those guys because to a man, when I see Jermaine, Jermaine lives out in Michigan now, and I see Courtney, like, God, he said, we'd have loved going up there, just play a team. Because we'd have played, if we'd have got in, we'd have played Hereford, and they were undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, Hereford didn't win. They were runner-up that year. Potomac won it all. My brother Mitch and I went up to the state finals that year and watched Potomac play.
Oh, okay.
My God, they were huge. But anyway, that didn't make any difference to us. We'd have played anybody, and I'd have put a pork up with just about anybody as far as running or deep.
Me too.
So, big tough pill to swallow. And I tell you, we lost to High that year, but the game that hurt us, I went up and scouted. It was Snow Hill and Kent County. So I'm like, if Kent County wins, that's an extra point for us, right?
Oh, okay.
Kent County was losing by like 2 or 3 points. All right. They're driving the ball. About a minute left. They're like on about the 3-yard line. They hand the ball off to this big running back they got, right? He's getting ready to go in the end zone untouched. Guess what he did? He fumbled that ball. Snow Hill recovered it, and they lost.
I did not know that. I'm going to have to talk to Gary about that. I'm going to have to talk to Somerville about that one.
Man, it was a big African-American running back. Big guy. Big guy. And boom. Nobody touched him. He fumbled that ball. I think he got excited because he's getting ready to score that touchdown. Would have won the game. That would have given us an additional point. To see, they lost. So when you lose, you don't get that point. That would have given us a point because we beat Kent County.
Y'all would have got that.
So if we would have got that point, we'd have been in the playoffs.
That's the only thing about football, which I never. Right. Go ahead.
I remember getting my car and going home, and I called Coach Ward, and I told him, he said, "Go on, Mike. We won at Snow Hill to win that game." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah. That's them winning gives us an additional point. Them losing, we don't get any points." I'm like, "Wow." And he said, "It's really close." I think that was like week 9. I'm like, "Oh my God." Yeah. I was like, "Wow." No, it was about week 8. Because we played Kent County to follow. That's when I went up there to scout them.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh my gosh. Jeez. Yeah, man. Ask Gary about it. Gary probably tell you.
I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him about that.
Because them boys. A couple of their players.
It's crazy.
There were some JV players.
I'm glad you explained that though.
Pardon?
It was JV players up there watching. I'm glad you explained that because I always wonder why 9-1 record and you don't get in. So I'm glad you explained that.
Well,
just
you'll get in now
to.
Because I think they take top 4 out of each region, and when they get to the regional semifinals, then they reseed them again or something like that. Because one year, a team in Montgomery County was really good, and there was a team in their same region, and they didn't want them playing each other for the regional finals. It happened in baseball because baseball changed around because Cambridge one year played St. Michael's in a regional final. That was the state final. It was a state final.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Cambridge ended up winning in like 9 innings, extra innings, and they had that kid that went professional. That kid could throw. I forget his last name now, but Brian said, he said they went to the states semifinal, they won, and the final they won that too. He said we'd probably won it all. So that's the same thing when St. Michael's plays in baseball,
Coach, you're right too. Somerville, he commented on the status, and he said you're right. He said it was their sophomore fullback that fumbled. Their sophomore fullback. Yep.
I remember that as well. I was like, because the following week we were playing Kent County, and the following week Kent County's JV was undefeated, and Easton's JV was undefeated. And I was sitting there, right? Of course, I had my black and orange on, right? And I'm sitting there writing all this stuff down. Hey, you Easton coach? I go, yeah, young man. How you doing? He said, fine. He said, we're going to whip y'all's ass next Thursday night. I said, are you talking JV? He says, yeah, man, we're undefeated. I said, okay, well, good luck to you. I'm just telling you right now, Easton's pretty good this year. And that was, I think it was D's freshman or sophomore year. You'll have to ask him. But they came down, and Easton put a whipping on them. And their head coach was Mario Clark.
Mario Clark, yeah. Mario Clark.
He was a coach. He coached basketball up there, didn't he? For a while?
Yeah, he did. Because I remember he did coach for a while. Because I remember we went down there maybe my sophomore, junior year. And as soon as I came in, he said, oh, yeah, that's Timmy's son right there. You know right who I was. As soon as I came in. So, yeah, he was another good guy. Definitely another good guy as well. And Coach, let me ask you about staying with football for a second, because I always tell people. Now, I didn't watch a lot of football when I was in high school. I went to some games, and but the best football player I see on my eyes, it was Port. It was Dennis Hardy. I know you've seen a lot of other ones. I mean, could you just talk about, since he was offensive coordinator for Port, just everything that he did, which was different than a lot of other backs at that time?
I think the one thing that set me about Dennis was his passion of the game. His passion of the game. That was number one. Because he would come to practice on Monday. He says, "Hey, Coach Butch, you watch that Alabama-Auburn game on Saturday? Did you watch the game? The game out on the West Coast that comes, those West Coast games, they come on 10 o'clock. I watch them."
Yeah.
I watch them too. I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, man." He said, "I got the football in my hand. I was watching the running back, he doing this, switching the ball, this and that." He said, "Man, I watched it." Said, "Man, you love football." And I love it. He said,
"Another game. Always is."
So people ask me who was the best football player I ever coached. It's not. I don't even blank. It's Dennis Hardy.
Not even close. Not even close.
Yeah, best football player I ever saw in Easton. I'm talking Easton High School was Frank Robinson, who ended up going. He went to Tulane, and then he went to Canada and played up there for 10 years. He liked it so much he's still up there.
Oh wow! Oh, I didn't know. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
The restaurant. Yeah. And just good people. But yeah, Dennis Hardy's the best one I ever coached. And the thing about me, a couple of college coaches, Jody Ward told me this, said, "Yeah, the coach from over Madison, he wants to put Dennis he wants to play Dennis at linebacker." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. I changed the position. Yeah.
I was like, wow. Yeah, it's like, wow. I can remember there was a kid from North Carolina. I'm not going to say his name. This kid played at Richmond, and he could run. And we were up there playing North Carolina, and Dennis broke through the hole. And a lot of people said, "Oh, Dennis, his 40 time wasn't all that good." I tell you this: never saw anybody catch this from behind.
Never saw anybody catch him. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That kid from North Carolina, Dennis came through the line. That kid chased him, never caught. And Jody Ward turned right around and said, "Yeah. What about that 40 speed now?" Have you ever seen anybody catch that? Jody Ward said, "Have you ever seen anybody catch Porky from behind?" I said, "No." I coached him, and I first met him when he was in middle school. I tell you, that was a blast. Middle school football and JV, we had fun, and then varsity, we had a lot of fun. It was just another bitter pill to swallow that those guys didn't make the playoffs, and I see some guys played back that year, and said, "Daggone, what if?"
Right. Yeah. What do you expect? Staying with football, we jumped in the NFL. What are you expecting from your Ravens this year? You had a great year last year, Lamar Jackson, MVP. What you expecting this year? The Super Bowl or bust, or you think that's too high of a thing?
They win it all this year. I'm saying, they're going to win it all, but barring injury. Of course, that's true with any team. They got Calais Campbell, who's probably the best run stopper D tackle in the league.
Oh, that's key. Calais Campbell's key.
Move Brandon Williams back to nose. They got Derek Wolfe, so he'll give a little bit of pass rush.
Derek Wolfe, very good. He was on their Broncos championship team.
Yep. They got some weapons. They got some weapons, and Lamar is just. I'd watch football last year. When he would take off running, I'd just stand up off the couch and like, all right, what's he going to do now?
He's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable football player. They can say what they want. He's a good athlete, but he's an unbelievable football player. And he's another one. Ever watch video, and he's passionate about the game. Yeah,
he studies it.
He
works hard at it. He's humble. Yep. You don't hear stuff about him. And I like too. You don't hear much about Mahomes too. But golly, Dave,
Yeah, and he's young, so y'all ain't going nowhere no time soon because he's young. Y'all just going to keep building off of that. Now, I heard y'all was talking about working out Dez Bryant. Do you think y'all need another receiver, either him or somebody else, or no?
I say no to Dez Bryant. I say no to Antonio Brown. That's just my opinion.
Got you.
My opinion.
Got you.
Just my
opinion. Got you.
They no problem. Give him a shot. Give him a shot. Now, Marquise Brown is 100% healthy. I think you're going to see a difference.
Hollywood.
He had a good year last year, and
he did 100%. Very good. Yep. Awesome. And I know NBA playoffs started today, and your Lakers play tomorrow. What do you feel about the Lakers this year? Do you expect them to win? I know some people are starting to announce it: the Clippers, Lakers, Bucks. What do you think?
Woo! I don't know if they can get by Milwaukee or not, man. I tell you, it's going to be tough. But I'm going to stick with my Lakers. So, because I'm been a Laker fan since the 60s. A lot of people, back in the 60s, everybody, like here on the East Coast, it was the Celtics. The Celtics, right? The Celtics, right? Celtics. Me, I was rooting for the Lakers. I was like, I'm tired of that.
You.
You know, everybody, it was just like the Yankees and the Orioles. You know, I had a lot of friends that, from here, nothing bad against the Yankees, but they like the Yankees. And they but they won all the daggone time. But I was like, I'm sticking with the Orioles, you know. When we got Frank Robinson in that trade in 1966, there you go. That's right. Frank Robinson was a leader, and he was a very mentally tough baseball player. Just mentally tough. Yeah. But he was awesome. But they said he was mentally tough, but in the clubhouse, he was the best man you could want in the club. Yep.
Yeah. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, listen, Coach, I want to end it with this. I know we talked a little bit about it, but I definitely want to talk about, your good friend Dave Haslip and also, ALS and make people aware of that. Just whatever you want to share about Dave and about ALS and whatever you want to share about that.
All right, Dave came from Old Easton, growing up. He grew up on the Stony Ridge, which is off of Dutchman's Lane, that neighborhood there. And I first saw Dave, I think I was 11 years old, and he was trying out for Little League. My dad was a Little League baseball coach, and Dave had a friend by the name of Marty Chance, who was a very good baseball player, 9 years old. And I can remember him yelling something at Marty Chance. Marty Chance said something back, and then I heard this distinctive laugh. And I'm like, man, I hate this guy. Next thing I know, Dave Haslip. So we played against each other. He would play ball out to the YMCA, and he played football in Tulsa County Football League. So we get to high school, and we became good friends and everything like that. I was playing varsity basketball. He was playing JV because he's 2 years younger than I am. I used to give him a ride home. He said, "Man, can you give me a ride home?" I said, "Sure, man. That's right on the way." So give him a ride home and everything like that. Did a lot of stuff together, and we became really tight during baseball season. And when he freshman and sophomore. And then next thing I know, like I said, my first year out of high school, I worked a year, and Dave was playing football. He made all Bayside center and played I think he made all Bayside in baseball too. And he played American Legion baseball with Harold Baines. And next thing I know, I'm up to Chesapeake College. Who do I run into? Dave Haslip. And everybody called him Gut. Nobody knew him as Dave Haslip. Everybody knew him as Nut. I said, "Man, Nut, what are you doing up here?" He said, "Man, I'm up here going to school." I said, "Are you going to play soccer?" He said, "No, man, I don't know anything about soccer. Never played." I said, "Come on, man." I said, "I've never played before, but I tell you what, it'll get you in shape." And it did. It got us in shape for basketball.
It will get you in shape. Yeah.
He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, man, come on, just go." He turned, next thing you know, he's all Maryland JUCO and soccer. And
wow.
And basketball, and we played baseball, and next thing I know, I go to Salisbury, and he calls me. He says, "Man, I think I'd like to go to Salisbury too." I said, "All right." So next thing you know, we're going to Salisbury together and played baseball together there. And next thing you know, we get out of college, we're playing softball together, and we played softball many, many, many years together. And just probably just a good friend. And when I got the news, my mother told me about it. She says, "Michael." My mother, when she gets real emotional, she don't call me Mike. She calls me Michael. She says, "Michael."
Michael.
Got a phone call from Wally the other day that Dave Haslip has Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. And I was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah." Said, came home, and his wife noticed that he was slurring his words. His speech was becoming real and slurring his words. And she looked at him. She goes, "Isn't it a little bit early to be drinking?" And he goes, "I haven't touched any alcohol today. I haven't drank any today. I'm just getting off work." So he went to the doctor, and they ran a bunch of tests here and there and everything like that. And he came back with ALS. And I think the thing that a lot of people remember about Dave is that he carried that disease with him. I think it was for close to about 12 years. And when he passed away, he had that, he was diagnosed with that disease. He had been diagnosed longer than any person in the United States.
Anybody else that had that?
That had that disease at the time. Yeah. So, yeah. And yeah, and I got to speak at his funeral. I had to speak at his wake, and that was pretty emotional. And
Yeah.
I miss him bad. You know, I mean, he has a son. I have a son that's they're just his son is 1 month older than my oldest son, and so it was very emotional. And but I'm telling you right
So
now,
your son real good in baseball, Coach?
oh yeah, his son went to University of Maryland and played 2
I
years.
thought so.
Played 2 years with the Staten Island Yankees, Class
Yeah,
A.
I thought so.
I don't care, Class A. It's still professional ball. So
That's yeah. Oh yeah, that's pro ball. Yeah.
Yeah, I went up to Aberdeen to watch him pitch one night. Yeah, he came out of the bullpen and pitched, and they played the Aberdeen Ironbirds. So yeah, man, just yeah, it was a tough one, but we were talking about earlier leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
He left a legacy because he had a golf
Left a legacy
every year, and sometimes he
I've
would
seen
have
that.
spring bash out to the Elks. And one year he raised like about $10,000. And at the golf tournament, he would have raised like $10,000. All that money went to research for ALS. And, so yeah, he left a legacy. Absolutely, he did. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good. You know, I was gonna say I've seen the awareness that you've been doing, with ALS, since then and different things like that. So trust me, people are watching and people see it. I know you definitely, left a legacy, and I looked up things and seen everybody had, such nice things to say about him. So, and I read about his son too, so that's why I wanted to ask about that.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yep. Oh,
yeah.
My dad passed away September 30th, 2016.
Yep. Gene. Yeah.
Yep. And like we said, left a legacy. I think he left a legacy. I'm pretty sure he did. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember your parents. They didn't miss a game.
No.
Even when you was and that was when you was coaching. So I know how they was when you played. And your mom, she left a message on. I don't know if you've seen it, but she left a message on one of the pictures, just talking about how much she enjoyed watching you play and coach.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I can. Geez, I forgot what I was going to say, but I can remember. My parents didn't miss many games, and when I made the decision to go to Salisbury, my mom was like, "Yes, we don't have to drive.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want you to go Slippery Rock, but if you wanted to, you certainly could make up your mind." Which was 6 hours from Easton, as compared to Salisbury, which is an hour. So, yeah,
right.
And it was really cool.
That makes sense.
You see your parents up in the stands, and the team we had, I can remember, like I said, Robin Knight, Jesse Plummer, Dave Funk, those guys, their parents were always there. Always.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. So, yeah. So,
yeah.
Indeed.
Awesome. That's
awesome. I
got
one question, man, because I did some research and I didn't know all this, but and all you guys listening out there, I love Easton High sports. Love it. Wanted to be always wanted to wear that orange and black, man. Like I said, the 68 team was so inspirational, motivational to me. I was like, I can't wait to put on that tribe jack. I can't wait to wear my letter, man. So I was investigating, and I was like, wow. And all you guys out there, I'll let you think it over. What varsity team, male and female, what varsity team has won the most state titles?
Had to be was it Kelly Gibson's team?
Pardon?
Was it Kelly Gibson's Easton team?
No, they won 2 state titles.
Wow. So, I know I don't know.
Anybody there make any guesses there?
Let me see if anybody got any posts on here. Let me give them a couple. That's all right. And trust me, when you get done, though, make sure you check these comments out, Coach, because I'm telling you, they love you on here. So make sure you get on
Facebook. Those answers.
Yeah, right on Facebook. Yeah, right on Facebook. You'll see it right on the page, the live, and then what I'll do, you'll see the Facebook live, and then I'll put it. It'll be on YouTube in a couple of days. But a lot of comments. It's great.
Oh, God.
No one put anything, but go ahead. Go ahead and let us know who is it.
All right. So I'm gonna start from up. All right. I tell you what, this was really men's basketball was one. The 68 team, and that's why for those. And I was like, golly, they were finalists in 60. They were finalists in 65 and 2011. They were semifinalists in. No, that's baseball. No, that's basketball. Yeah. They were
Yeah,
fine.
because 2011, right. That's Ja Ringo's team. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Gordon
You know,
Jeter, no.
they went to well, not called. It wasn't called Cole Fieldhouse then. What's it called now?
Oh yeah. They changed the name of it. Yeah, I know.
They
We
went
still
there
say Cole. Right.
They went there in
Yep.
2010, 2011, and 2012. That's incredible.
Ja Ringo.
That's
Ja
awesome.
Ringo. And I tell you,
Ja Ringo,
he's one of the. He goes out as one of the best.
absolutely. Gordon
Yeah,
Jeter. Gordon on that team.
Yeah, Gordon Jeter was on there too. Yeah. Shaheen Washington, Shoddy. Yep. It had a great team. Andre Gibson Jr. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just meant I got let's see here. Field hockey. No, women's basketball was 2. That was the Kelly Gibson. She scored 40. No, she scored 39 points in a semifinal game. 39, and that's not even the record.
He did.
That's not even the record, man. I looked at that. I'm like, wow, 39 points. That's got to be the record. Some girl hit up to 45 or something like that. So
yeah.
Soccer and baseball have 3. Field hockey have 3. Girls softball, 7.
Girls softball has 7?
7 state championships. 2000, 2002, 2004, 2008, 2010, 2011, 2013.
That's probably why I didn't know. So they did all these in the 2000s. Good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What year did you graduate?
Awesome.
You graduated
2003.
Yep. Because they had a run. They went there. They went over there at 2002. No, where's 3? No, all right. 2004, 2005, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14. Dang, oh, that's incredible, man. Yeah.
A lot of people guess field hockey too. When you said it, I got a couple people on here that said field hockey.
Yeah, they had 3 state titles, but they went.
Yeah.
Good golly day. They went. Yeah. They won in 88, 90, and 91, and they finished runner-up in 92.
Wow.
They had a run 3 years in a row. That was incredible.
See, that's what I love about you, Coach. You come in here dropping that knowledge, dropping those stats. That's what I like, because that's one of the things that Easton history, people just don't understand outside of Easton, so much history with all sports, all sports around here. So, yeah.
Well, I'm on the committee of the Easton Athletic Hall of Fame, and all you guys there that were good athletes, be patient. I mean, we're talking, be patient, because we got guys from Moton High School. We got 2 gentlemen from Moton High School. Remember Buck Miller, Mr. Miller?
Yep.
He's getting in.
That's my coach too. Mm-hmm.
Yep, Buck Miller, and there was a guy by the name of Richard Milburn, apparently who had a tryout for the pros. And oh my gosh, Moton High School basketball coach, one of the basketball coaches, Roger Bryan. He's oh my gosh, wow. Now you talking about me, man, keeping his legacy, buddy. He got up there and man, he was coat and tie and all boom. Way he's a starting speaking, buddy. I looked over at my wife. She's bawling. She's bawling.
Wow.
Incredible experience. I just wow. And and people there were like, there wasn't a single person in that did not respect that respected
I bet
that man that night, man. Because 93, he walked up there like he was 33. I'm like, wow.
Wow. That's awesome.
Got in and the 68 basketball team got in. All the guys said that. So, and you know what? There's a lot. Because somebody said, well, why didn't so-and-so get in? I said, listen, man, there's a lot of good.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of good talent. It's hard.
Easy.
It's hard.
Guy that's getting in this year, I played football with, he was running back, and his name was, and he's not related to Andre Gibson, but his name was Andre Gibson. And
is that right? Oh, okay.
Andre lived, this was Andre Gibson. He lived right across the street from where Moton was. His mother was a teacher, Miss Flo. Everybody called her Miss Flo. He had a sister. Her name was Flo, and she was an outstanding student. And Andre was a good student. He went to VMI and played football there. And then I did some research on Andre. I did not know that he was the state champ. Where my dag on? He was a state champ in the long jump in 1974. I did not know that.
Long jump champ, 74. Wow. See, that's what I like. That's what I like. Wow, that's crazy.
See, he played varsity football. Coming off the bench, he came off the bench. He said, Tom played defense. Mr. Hayward would say, Andre, just, full court press. just press it.
That's what he wanted to do. Yeah.
Game, boom, and then he ran track. So yeah, and I can't wait
awesome.
to see him. I can't wait to see him come September because I think he lives out in California now. So
that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, but he graduated with my brother
Yeah.
Bill. Him and Bill were tight. They were tight, but yeah. So golly day, yeah, because we go over the sheet and we go, oh my God, look at all these guys and girls. See, you got to go to girls too, and easy hope.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. And the girls basketball this year was getting ready to go across the bridge before COVID stopped everything. I have a little cousin on there, Ashley Finney. So yeah, they had a great year. Great year. Yeah.
Felt really bad, man. Those girls walking out of the building, getting ready to walk on the bus, and
yeah,
really felt bad.
Mm-hmm.
I have a great that played lacrosse. He said, "We got a good team this year, Uncle Mike. We got a real good team."
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get a chance to even play. Daggone, tough. It had to be tough. Daggone,
Yeah, for sure.
But we're going to get
this. Yeah.
Because you know why? He loves us.
Oh yeah, he loves us. So we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it one day at a time. That's right, Coach. Coach, man, I tell you, I gotta say, and send the prayers up for Taylor.
That's right, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, because I was going to put on Facebook tonight that the gentleman I've been talking about is Taylor Leeson, so we all need to absolutely. So yeah, get the word out
for sure.
Nothing beats an hour of prayer, brother.
You got that right. That's the most powerful. That's the most powerful weapon it is right there. I tell you, but Coach, man, I tell you, Coach, I can't thank you enough for coming on and taking some time out your busy schedule to jump on here. I tell you, man, like I said, I love you. I appreciate everything you've done for me, you've done for the community, that you continue to do for the community and teaching and coaching and umpiring and refereeing and so much that you do. So again, I appreciate you, Coach. I appreciate you.
Well, man, I tell you, from the bottom of my heart, man, that makes me feel real good, man. I appreciate it. And all you guys out there listening, I appreciate you listening and for your positive comments. And to God be the glory, man. To God be the glory. It took me a while to learn about that, but yeah.
Trust me. I know what you mean.
He's in all our hearts.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Well, I appreciate that, Coach. Listen, I'm sure I'll talk to you soon. You be safe. You and the family be safe. And everybody out there, thanks for tuning in Real Sports Fan Podcast. See y'all next week. All right, Coach.
All right. Love all you guys.
All right. Take care. Love you too, Coach.
All right, man. Take care.
You too. Thanks.